This is Goku-san, DBZ, and welcome back for a new top 5 list. And today I'm going to be counting down, at least for me personally, in my opinion, 5 of the best video game soundtracks of all time. And not track, but the actual overall game soundtracks. First up, a couple of honorable mentions that didn't quite make the cut for the top 5. Final Fantasy X, Fable 3, Journey, Soul Calibur, Kingdom Hearts, Mega Man X, one of my favorite 16-bit soundtracks of all time, Mirror's Edge, The Catalyst, Tekken Tag Tournament. And now here are the top 5. First up, coming at number 5, in my personal opinion, keep in mind, is also, in my opinion, easily maybe second, if not the best, first-person shooter of all time for me personally, and my 5th favorite video game soundtrack. And this is epic. I mean, the music is superb, and this game / soundtrack was originally on the Xbox. Coming in number 5 is Halo Combat Evolved soundtrack. Definitely most excellent music. I mean, the orchestra pieces and the, that voice and stuff sound like monk-style music. The theme of Halo is superb. Easily one of the most epic sounding pieces of music of all time. When the main screen comes up saying Halo Combat Evolved, you see, of course, the Halo obviously in the game, and you hear that music kicking in. It just gets you pumped and psyched and ready to start playing Halo. And I never really listened too much to the soundtracks of a lot of the other Halo games, other than maybe Halo 2 and 3, but I felt the soundtracks weren't overall as well put together as this specific game. I just feel overall the music is just very well done and composed. Coming in number 4 is Kingdom Hearts 2. And yeah, the original is superb, but there's certain pieces of music I enjoyed more from Kingdom Hearts 2. I mean, don't get me wrong, I prefer, of the two main themes, I still prefer Simple and Clean. At least, I prefer the instrumental version of Simple and Clean more than the actual pop version of the song. I actually prefer, honestly, of the actual song itself, I prefer Sanctuary over Simple and Clean. That may be considered somewhat blasphemous to say as a Kingdom Hearts fan, and I consider myself a pretty hardcore fan since I've played all the games in the series multiple times. And I've done gameplays uploaded here on YouTube of Kingdom Hearts 2, Birth by Sleep, Dream Drop Distance, and of course, the Fragmented Passage. Eventually, I need to upload a gameplay of the original Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, I know. But overall, I enjoyed the music. Specifically, music that stands out from the 2 is the music from Tron World. I very much enjoyed the music from definitely The World That Never Was and Castle Oblivion music. I really enjoy, and I in general like pretty much all the music involving, of course, the members of Organization 13. And I also really like the music from Twilight Town. It's one of my favorite pieces of any Kingdom Hearts world personally. And I like the overall layout and design of Twilight Town as well. And I'm biased because I really like the character Roxas. Number 3 is the original Fable game. Also, of course, was released on the Xbox. So yeah, number 5 slot and number 3 slot go to Xbox games. And number 4 slot, technically, PS2. But yeah, Fable, easily my favorite of the Fable series, and, in my opinion, the best game on the original Xbox. Well, Fable / Fable Lost Chapters. But everybody has their opinion. Many people feel it's Fable 2, which I agree is a superb game, but the soundtrack to the original Fable is amazing, and it doesn't hurt the fact the actual main theme of the, main theme, opening music of the game doesn't hurt the fact it's composed by my second favorite composer of all time, Danny Elfman. Which, of course, is done pretty much almost every Tim Burton movie that I can ever think of. But coming at number 2, you're hearing music of right now, actually, from Old Town. And coming, I don't have the actual physical soundtrack, only digital, so I'm showing the game case. And coming at number 2 favorite soundtrack, Gravity Rush. Because it is a superb and amazing soundtrack. This is by far my favorite track from the game, but overall, it's very well done, put together, and the music to Old Town specifically reminds me, from the style and structure of the music, reminds me a lot of something you would think of less of from a video game and more from a Hayao Miyazaki film, Studio Ghibli film. Specifically, I feel like this music playing could easily fit in perfectly in a movie like Spirited Away. It has a lot of elements of some Spirited Away soundtrack, which is regarded, in my opinion, as probably one of the best anime soundtracks of all time, and easily my number 1 favorite Studio Ghibli film of all time, if not my favorite anime movie of all time. I digress. Coming in at number 1 is not only my number 1 favorite PS1 game of all time, it is my favorite Final Fantasy and Square Enix game of all time. Coming at number 1 favorite soundtrack of all time, Final Fantasy VIII. I love this freaking soundtrack. It is so amazing. Seriously. The music in this game is just superb. I expect nothing less, especially from Nobu. Now, I'm not going to try to say his name because I do not want to butcher it. But the music is amazing. The opening main theme. I also very much enjoy the main theme for the first big baddie of the series, who kind of becomes more of an anti-hero later on in the game, and that being Sorceress Ida. I love her music. It is amazing. Sorceress Ida, and then they did like a remix version of Sorceress Ida's music for Sorceress Ultimacia, which is one badass. Definitely awesome villainess, I will say. And it's kind of cool that fact that you can play as her in, of course, the Dissidia games. But I seriously love... I'm normally not big on romance in video games in the Final Fantasy series, but strangely enough, I actually like the romance involved in this. And to be honest, most people's favorite probably emo or emo-ish type hero is probably, a lot of people's is obviously Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, which I feel is kind of overrated, but to each their own. Personally, I love Squall, aka, of course, in Kingdom Hearts, Leon. But I've always liked the character Squall, but the music in this game is superb. I mean, it's 4 CDs, the actual soundtrack. You are talking some serious music time. If you just want to listen to every track on this, it's going to set you back well over about 4.5 hours. That's how many tracks there are in this game. It is incredible, the music. Strangely enough, I'll quickly say before I cut up this video, there is one track specifically early in the game in the school, and the music sounds very close to the opening piece of music called Hey You from easily one of the greatest rock bands of all time, Pink Floyd. Yeah, there's a piece of music in this that sounds awfully similar to the opening piece of music in Pink Floyd's song Hey You. Seriously, if you don't believe me, check up the music on the soundtrack on here, and then listen to the opening piece of Hey You from Pink Floyd. It's kind of freaky how similar they are. Or maybe, of course, the one who composed the soundtrack, maybe he's, well, actually, if I'm not mistaken, he actually is a pretty big fan of rock, if I'm not mistaken. Because I recently watched a documentary actually on the history of Square Enix in the Final Fantasy franchise. I recommend you check it out. You can find it here on YouTube, by the way. It's about a 52-minute long documentary. It's well worth the watch. If you're into video game history, or specifically Square Enix and Final Fantasy. With that said, this is Goku-san DBZ. And I hope you enjoyed this top 5 list. Leave me a comment, tell me, of these 5, which do you feel is the best soundtrack? And also, while you're at it, leave a comment and tell me, what is your favorite video game soundtrack of all time, in your personal opinion? I'm actually very curious to see other people's opinions of what games they feel have really well done music overall. But with that said, I'll see y'all next time, and I should be filming the next day or two, comic book pickups. And I have some more gameplays coming this weekend from Titanfall 2, and I may start uploading some gameplay, possibly from Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I decided to give a Call of Duty game a chance. So far, I'm actually really enjoying the single-player campaign, and the dogfights are actually a lot of fun. See you then.